Hey everybody, this is Christy Furio with Keys to the Shop. Welcome to another edition of Shift Break. So happy to have you along today. You know, the purpose of these episodes is to give you a little bit of wisdom and some tools to help you develop as a professional. And I'm glad that you decided to take a moment out of your day to do that. And another thing that you really need to do when you have the opportunity to do it between rushes, of course, that's cleaning your machine. During the course of business, that equipment gets pretty dirty and it needs to be cleaned and well cared for in order to make amazing coffee consistently. And when you're thinking about what to use to clean your equipment, for that job, I would definitely recommend our sponsor, Ernex. So, you know, Ernex has been making cleaning products for the coffee industry for over 80 years. They develop an extensive line of products specifically designed for applications such as cold brew, steam wands, grinders, espresso machines, even the first dedicated cleaner for roasters and roasting equipment. And they don't just create this stuff in a vacuum. What's great about them is that they work hand in hand with professionals across the globe to make sure that what we use in the shop is both effective and easy to use. I just can't recommend them enough. So the bottom line here, clean equipment makes the best coffee, and the best cleaning products are made by Ernex. Find out more information by visiting ernex.com. Well, you know, we just heard about Ernex and how when you're cleaning your equipment, you really do need to do it regularly, and you need to do it in the time that you have available. Because if you wait, more customers come in and it becomes harder and harder to do it. You basically lose the opportunity. It is perfect segue, really, to what I want to talk about today. And that is not engaging in self-betraying behavior. So I'm a big fan of a book called Leadership in Self-Deception by the Arbinger Institute. It's a book that I'm going through a second time now. It's a book written in the style of a business fable, if you will, which is a story written to illustrate the points of the book. This is a book all about how we relate to people, in our families, and also it has a heavy focus, obviously, on how we relate to people in our working environments. One of the elements that it talks about in this book that has been really impactful for me is the idea of self-betrayal, where we have the intention to do something. We have a nice thought in our head to say something nice, to do something nice for another person. And then we somehow convince ourselves to let that thought go, and we don't do it. I think most of us have these thoughts all throughout the day. Now, certainly, there is a lot of room for the opposite, which is when you have thoughts to do something bad and you don't do it. I think that is definitely a good thing. But we're talking about the opportunity to make somebody feel good, to make somebody's day, whether that's a customer or a coworker or an employee or your boss. There have been several occasions, if you're honest, and this is me too, where you've thought, I want to write like a nice note, or for the openers, you know, or I want to say something to the boss that is encouraging. But then we get busy, then we lose the opportunity, then we convince ourselves, oh, that's corny, that's stupid, I'm not going to do that, or we think, you know, I thought to do that, but they don't deserve it because they did something to me last week that I don't like, or I've categorized them as the type of person that doesn't deserve me doing something nice to them. Okay, so there's a lot of excuses that we have for holding back our encouragements and the things that we think to do that will actually promote harmony within the business. And I think that there's a world of possibility here. Imagine if every intention that you had, every positive intention to build up, to affirm, to encourage, to instruct, all of those things for the other person, for their benefit, right? If you actually made good on those things. I mean, the implications are pretty huge. If everyone did that, I think the working environment in a coffee shop would be way more positive. I think everyone would feel a lot more encouraged and wonder less what their coworkers thought about them, or wondered less about what the boss thinks of them. When people are honest and follow those inclinations and those little thoughts that they have on a regular basis, if you strive to that, if we make an agreement to strive to that, I think we have in our hands the solution to the tension that we often feel, especially in the service environment. So this is sort of an episode to encourage you. You have the ability to encourage others. You have the ability, even if you don't think the person deserves it, you will be betraying your own self by not following through. If they don't deserve it, that's fine. You're not doing any harm by doing it. Actually, you're benefiting from that because you're being true to your conscience. You're being true to what you thought to do. You're building up resiliency, and you're building a great habit that once you're not in that environment where you have to interact with that person, it's going to be that much easier for you to give that kind of encouragement to somebody who is a little bit more on the level with you. All in all, I'd say when you have the idea to do something good for somebody or say something nice, make an effort to follow through with that. Even if it sounds corny, even if it's not exactly something that you've planned out well, don't be a perfectionist about it. It'll be messy, it may be awkward, but having done this myself and experienced all those emotions, you're going to be way happier that you did it. We need this kind of thing from all people within the shop. Bosses, baristas, trainers. We're all kind of good at finding fault with each other or with the system and the company and the boss or whatever. Let's dial in that part of ourselves and really let shine that part of ourselves that's affirming, that's encouraging, and takes action accordingly when those thoughts come up, just like cleaning your machine. If you don't do that when you think of it, when you have the opportunity, you're going to lose the opportunity. You'll talk yourself out of it, and you'll just be betraying yourself in the end. So again, go read that book. I know I've recommended it before, Leadership and Self-Deception by the Arbinger Institute. And they also have another book related to it called The Anatomy of Peace. And take what you will from this. Hopefully this resonated with you. Maybe just take a day. Start with a day. Or if you're ambitious, try to go the whole week and say, every time I get one of these thoughts, I'm going to take action. I'm going to do it. I'm going to say it. I'm going to write it, and see what difference it makes. I hope that you found this helpful. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you here next week for another edition of Shift Break, from keys to the shop.